What's up, guys? It's November 11th. This is the Trio of O Show's Raw review. Justin can't be here with me tonight, or else he'd be here. He's not going to come down through on the side. We've done that before, though, so you got to stay on your toes. But the show is in Manchester. Manchester's in England, in case you were wondering, in case you did not pass geography. Oh, this hat sucks. So I'm rocking the Seattle hat, inside joke. Regardless, though, the show starts off with a recap of the Big Show doing Big Show stuff last week on Raw. If you want to recap what we thought about it, watch last week's review. There's no need for recaps of recaps on a recap of a recap show, because that would make no sense. But things that do make sense is putting Randy Orton against the Tag Team Champions, which happened in the next segment of the show, first part of the show, I guess, the opener, in which Brad, Maddox, Kane, and Vicky all argued about who was in charge, but they all decided on champ versus tag champs. The match itself was really good. It does the whole heel gets counted out, tries to walk away thing at the end of it. You can't win every battle. You can't have every match go and have a decisive finish. It wouldn't make sense. He's your champion. Shouldn't bury the guy. But at the same time, the tag champs are getting some momentum as well, so you can't bury them either. Either way, it was solid, very solid. And then as Orton's leaving, Big Show throws him back into the ring, and then eventually chokeslams him through a table. And a couple segments later, I'll just talk about it now, though. Randy Orton's backstage. He's got ice on the shoulder, argues with the Shield. Like, whatever you guys will tell me. And they said, we don't work for you. And they list all people they don't work for. I'm pretty sure they work for Triple H, and that's it. But it's not about justice anymore. It's about getting paid. We all know what that's about. Next up, we had Los Matadores. Worst gimmick of 2013 goes to them. How the heck are they giving so much attention and they're not even getting somewhat over? They have a little tiny guy dressed as a bull, and they can't get any reaction, which is ridiculous. I don't understand it. And then they teamed with Santino tonight to take on Union Jack, which was 3MB with the English flag. I guess it's called Union Jack. I didn't know that. Sorry, I'm not that well versed on English nomenclature and history. But they had that on the pants, and I want them to do this everywhere they go. Next week they're in country, Nashville, Tennessee. I want them all in cowboy hats. I want them all singing Garth Brooks or Tim McGraw. And I want them playing air guitar slower now. That'd be fantastic. And then basically wherever they go, they should find a way to represent that city's music, even if it's Sacramento. Not what you do in Sacramento, but I mean, yeah, think if they do it everywhere, they have to do something there. Either way, though, 3MB stole the show, stole the segment, and Los Matadores and Santino win via Cobra with the little bull heads attached to it. And that was it. Damian Sandow beat Kofi Kingston in a match I'm not even going to talk a whole lot about because it doesn't do anything for either of them. Sandow is forking him. Done. It's not good. It's not good when your character loses all of that momentum that fast. Well, it didn't have a whole lot to begin with, but I guess when you hit a brick wall and you're not going fast, you don't go through the brick wall, it stops your momentum and you're done right there. And the wall's fine, you're never going to get past it until you go take a step back and go around it. But here he is trying to go through the wall still. It's not going to work, buddy. Not going to work. Kofi's not doing anything either. But at least they didn't give Kofi a Money in the Bank briefcase and have him not deliver on it. So what's the future for either of those people? We'll soon find out. Oh man, it's so much easier with someone else here next to me. This kind of sucks. Curtis Axel beat Dolph Ziggler in what a lot of people are calling, I'm going to go backwards, in honor of Michael McGillicuddy, which was his backwards hat gimmick for about 3 weeks. It was him and Otunga, and the team that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And he took on Dolph Ziggler tonight for the Intercontinental Championship. It was being defended on multiple continents. I thought Ziggler was going to win. They had him lose. Wasn't a bad loss though. It was they put in a lot of offense. Axel put in a lot of offense. And Axel just got the best of him at the end, which is how a lot of matches should go. I'm not going to complain about this one. Not at all. And I think somewhere in this, Zack Ryder has a merchandise selling thing, which he did really good at. And I think he's really good talking. And him and Ziggler are best friends. Remind me, I didn't put it in my notes. But we need to get some way to get Zack Ryder somewhat of a speaking role. I mean, because he lost a little bit of momentum when he got into the ring. He wasn't the best worker in the world. And we all were expecting it to be on par with his YouTube videos and his speaking ability. But it wasn't bad. But he got over through talking, and then they destroyed him. Following that, Tamina beat Nikki Bella, and Brie Bella dropkicked everybody, and Brie Bella's dropkicks are fantastic. She dropkicked Tamina and AJ after the match, after Tamina won. And this match was not a very good Divas match. But there's going to be one on Wednesday on Main Event if you're super into watching Divas matches. Watch Main Event as Natalya takes on AJ in a match that's not, so we can show parts of it later on Total Divas. Right. I'm with you on that one, WWE. Speaking of not for Total Divas, they actually bled this one in with some backstage dirt from Total Divas. This hat was weird bumpy. I got a weird shaped head. I should put on a do-rag or tie it in 22. Nah, white guy can't wear do-rags. Why am I on the subject of do-rags when Tyson Kidd was in the ring? Because he didn't win. Fandango picked up the win. Tyson Kidd is looking like he always looked now at this point. Awesome in the ring. People get behind him, but there's no reason to get behind him because he's not going anywhere. There's no point to hop on the bandwagon if the bandwagon's not moving. That's why you don't see people becoming fans of 0-9 teams, which there aren't on the NFL anymore. Shout out to the Jaguars and shout out to the Bucks. I think they're winning. TV's not on. Can't really know, but they're up. So think about it this way, though. Think about those annoying people they're all Lakers fans. And look at when they started picking teams, like how old they were. Like, when you get that certain age, everyone's like, hey, who's your favorite team? Well, if they say the Lakers, then they can gloat every time the Lakers win. So they pick the Lakers. That right there, when you program television for children, which they have done, is why wins and losses are so much more important than they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You can look at all. I guess they even were important back then, but not as important as they are now. Because you aren't seeing the fantastic matches by lower mid-card guys, or fantastic feuds for the IC Championship, or TLC matches getting tag teams over. You're not seeing that at all. Or you're seeing it very seldomly. It could use a little bit more, in my opinion, because it's a great way to get people over, pull people over. But you win some, you lose some. John Cena overcame the odds in the next segment. I gotta not lose some with my dinner because it was just a little bit too much for my taste. Because when you have a 2-on-1 handicap match and the guy overcomes the odds, you kind of want it to be somewhat of a whoa, shocker, whoa, not oh, and he's better than him. He just continues to beat up on these guys. And they go back and forth for a tiny bit. Let Cesaro get a lot of offense in, which was smart. He's a smart guy. Just the ending of it was booked where he looked like Superman again. And then Michael Cole even said, overcomes the odds. With Dario on commentary, Dario comes in the ring afterwards, beats up John Cena, and puts him in the Jawbreaker. Hold on. My Mexican accent turned into Arnold Schwarzenegger. John Cena! No, I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do my Alberto Del Rio accent. I was going to say, John Cena, you cannot hang with Alberto Del Rio. But you already knew that. That was in honor of Cesaro. Cesaro got some great reactions here. He put in a lot of good work. A lot of people putting a lot of stuff behind him. I think he's going to be solid when they break off for the Real Americans. But it's almost like, are they going to do it too late? I'm trying to think of a good example of when they should have pulled the trigger earlier but didn't. But once again, I think all these be handled case by case, and I think this one they need to pull the trigger sooner rather than later because there's a lot of solid tag teams out in there. And maybe it's going to be after Survivor Series, and then Cesaro will get somewhat of a push before TLC, and then he'll have a strong showing in the Rumble, strong showing in the Chamber, maybe a match for the IC title at Mania, or he'll hop in one of those group matches, and then he can hop forward from there and eventually challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's how I would do it. I think they are thinking the same way. But it's tough because when you book long term, you can only book for so many people. And the people have to be filler pieces and the story is being told by others, which is the part we all need to take a step back and realize that they are thinking ahead. They have been thinking ahead. They've always been thinking ahead. But they've been thinking ahead in terms of guys like Del Rio and Curtis Axel at the start, not anymore, of course, and the Ryback for a little bit. And they have been doing a whole lot with the Shield, which has been good. Obviously, they've been looking forward for the Triple H Authority thing, which I think either Big Show or Orton's going to come out good from it. How it's looking is it looks like Orton might end up just going to be a badass face again later on. It's just my opinion on that. But they're thinking long term on some people. It's just not the guys that we're saying they should focus on because, let's be honest, that changes about every week. And as proof of that, here's in the next match, our two guys within our span of the YouTube time we've been on here, you guys have said need to get more attention, which is R-Truth and Ryback. Now, R-Truth and Ryback, both at some point were fantastic heels or faces. But I'm going to say both, for both. And they both had multiple stands where they were really good. But they always peak and drop. Like, there's something to be said about people who can sustain the same level of stuff. And then there's guys who are roller coasters, like R-Truth and like the Ryback. You have to wonder why it happens. Holy crap, this hat's annoying me. R-Truth rolled up the Ryback. Hopefully this isn't going anywhere because I don't like seeing this on my TV. And I wish Raw was 2 hours and they could cut out stuff like this. 100% honest. Why are we still seeing the same thing? Why are we seeing matches like this and the Damien Sandow match when they could be very solid piece of SmackDown? But there's no reason to watch SmackDown because I can see all of it on Raw. After that, Del Rio makes Big E Langston tap in a match that makes sense and you want to happen because of the future implications of Del Rio versus Cena. But at the same time, wow, man, shout out to Big E Langston. Actually, I don't even know. I honestly, this is the one match I didn't watch tonight. Went upstairs and got some food, I think. I forgot what I did. Maybe I got some water. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Walked up during the match, came back down, and Del Rio made him tap out to the cross arm breaker, and that was it. And then we get to the final segment of the night, which was Paul Heyman's promo on CM Punk, and then Punk and Bryan fight the Shield, which was announced earlier in the show because it was Handicap Monday. And Punk and Bryan versus Shield goes about as good as you'd want it, how good as you'd think it would go when you have five guys who can move like that in the ring and do those certain things. And then, as Punk put Ambrose in the Anaconda Vice after the whole crash out segment, the Wyatt family interferes, but they sit there and they stare down the Shield. And then they go back and forth and push the Shield down a little bit, and then Bryan and Orton escape, and then Roman Reigns goes over to Bray Wyatt and goes, "Get him out of the ring. Why are all six of us not just beating those two guys up?" And then the Usos and the Rhodes interfere after that does happen for about 10, 15 seconds. And the faces clear the ring and the heels are on the outside. And we have the makings of a 6-on-6 Survivor Series match, which does not sound like the worst thing at all at this point, because as we were watching the card unfold, it was like, well, this is Survivor Series. We need a Survivor Series match. We need a 4-on-4 or a 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, because if you're not going to do that, then don't call it Survivor Series. It's like you didn't have the Royal Rumble at the Royal Rumble. or didn't have Elimination Chamber at Elimination Chamber, or didn't have Money in the Bank at Money in the Bank. It's Survivor Series for a reason. It's not just November show, November to Dismember. But they've, yeah. Anyway, next week Raw goes country, so Trio Vote Show might go country. Probably not though. I'll probably forget about it. Anyway, there's a subscribe thing that's been up here the entire time. I put it up here somewhere. I always put it afterwards. Not really sure. If you guys like what you see, you can subscribe and you get all of our videos emailed to you right when they come out, so you can know the first people do it. We did not destroy YouTube's comment system, so don't get mad at us. I wish it was better. It's not a huge problem for us because we didn't have a whole lot of flame dudes and not a lot of spam guys, except for a couple. I know who you guys are. Crazy Eights. Yeah, right. Now you can't hide behind the little alter ego. But a lot of you guys say a lot of civil things. Comment in there. I'll try to comment back as best as I can. Like this video if you have not already and you liked it. If you didn't like it, I don't know, send some constructive criticism to our inbox. Constructive criticism means don't say Jake sucks, where's Justin? Actually, at this point, if you're listening to this and you want to leave a comment on there. Wow, this show is so much better when Justin's here. I wish he liked wrestling more than he liked. And then you can say anything for that last phrase, and then we'll just have that be a train going on, and when he checks the comments he'll laugh at it. But anyway, I'm going to sign off before I talk way too long on this. Thank you guys for watching, and take care. Put a hat on because you don't like your hair. And I'm not balding. That's just the light.